So let us check that operators. Okay, let's see. I have a table. Okay, select star from, let's say this is the table. Okay, temp customer is my table. If I go ahead and execute it, it will throw me the whole data inside that table, from that table. Now my query is that I just need the customer who has customer key 11000, or let's say the gender male, whomsoever those records. So what can I do? So in that case, if it is a simple single filtration, right? If it is a single filtration, then we are going with where customer key equals to 11000. If I go ahead and execute this, so what it will give us? It will give us the simple record, single record, which is pointing to 11000, right? In the same case, let's say you have a scenario wherein you have to loop a table. Let's say 10 records till from 11, starting from 11000 to 11010. At that time, what will you do, guys?
Either you give the range or between operator.
Between operator, right? So it seems to be very basic classes. 2 to 3 classes would be very basic classes, guys. Then we'll go into a depth classes. Okay, the real-time scenarios, what might be happening when you're working, what might be the challenges, and how to overcome the performance issues, everything. Okay, so let's say between, okay, if I say 11000 and 11010, this query will result me the 10 different 10 to level different employees data, right? No boss, I just need the employees who was belonging to 11000 and 11010. So at that time, what can you do? Any idea? I was not looking for the data of these different employees. I was just trying to see the data of 11000 and the last employee. So in place of between, we have something known as in operator, guys. If I say in, okay, and the syntax slightly changes, and this, if you go ahead and say in operator, it will give you the result of whatever you have selected inside it. Clear? And I believe what are the different operators are there in like. Okay, so what do you mean by like operator, guys? Do anyone knows what is like? So if I say come again.
It will search for the record which are matching in that like operator.
Okay, so let us take the example. Okay, let us take the example of, let's say, the first name. Okay, I just want to fetch the employees whose first name starts with J. I just want J records. How can I write that? Where customer key like, okay, like what? J and a percentile symbol. So the percentile symbol after the letter represents that you are trying to search for the employees who has the letter J at the very starting. Okay, if you go ahead and execute it, what does it says? What is happening, guys, here? Why it is not giving any data? What might be the problem?
We missed the semicolon.
No, the problem is you're trying to do what? You're trying to select from the customer key rather than your first name. So the
Oh,
first
okay.
name,
The
first
column name is different actually.
column name, that's it. So what will you get? The data of the customers whose first name starts with J. Now in the same case, let's say you also want to find the employees. You also want to find the employees whose first name ends with J. So at that time, you just have to give the percentile symbol at the beginning of that letter. So again, so what does it say? What does that means? It means that there are no employees whose first names are ending with J anywhere in between the string. That means percentile symbol at start and at the end. This is what a like operators look like. So we are going to see what is top as we go ahead. Okay, and we are going to see column alias as well and as table alias. So let me let me talk something about aggregations. Okay, this were the operators, guys. Let me talk something about aggregation. What do you think aggregation means? What?
It could be a sum or addition or division.
Calculation on top of a column, right? So I believe we have seen, let me check. Have we min, max, sum, count? Exactly. So the column on which you're trying to calculate, okay. So let me see, employee, what was that which we have created yesterday? I believe this one, right? So now if I want to see what are the data type of this particular column, how can I look like? How can I see this? I just want to.
You can press F4.
Mm-hmm.
You can do F4 on it, and I think it will give you the structure of the
F4.
table.
Okay. So F4 is giving us the properties, right?
Oh, okay.
Alt and
Yeah.
F1. If you go ahead and press Alt and F1, double click on top of your table name, press Alt and F1. This is the short key, or else you can go ahead and write sp_help and the table name. You'll find the same window. Okay. So
What is the first one you said? Alt F1?
Alt plus F1.
Okay.
So here, guys, so one thing to understand, whenever uh, you're trying to do aggregation, okay, let's say that column is of type varchar. Okay, so at that on that column you cannot go ahead and do aggregation. Let me give you the live example. Let's say employee table. I believe I do have a table which is known as employee. Let me check, do I have data in that? So salary, it is of type float. I believe it got deleted or something else. Okay, we'll check that in coming classes. Okay, so the selection part is very important, on which column you are going ahead and doing the calculation part. If you're trying to calculate the column which is of type varchar, then you cannot go ahead and do that. Okay, the column must be a float, a money, or integer in order to get calculated. What do you think? Count, what will count give us? If I say dim customer, so let's say I just want to see the number of records. I just want total number of records. How many total number of records are there into my table? So at that time you can go ahead and give the count of star, right? Count of star. Why only star, guys? So what does it
It will
gives?
give more.
18484 records are there inside our table. Now you're seeing this no column name. So if you are trying to give the column name, alias column name, okay, a duplicate column name to this particular data, at that time you can go ahead and give it. Okay, count one, or else you can write it as count one. You're getting it? Count one as your column name, and 18484 records are there inside your dim customer table. Now here question arises, what is star? Can't we write one, or can't we write customer key over here? So will it give the proper data? Yes, obviously. We can go ahead and define the column names. We can go ahead and define one, or we can go ahead and define star. All okay. So what it will do, it will go ahead and count the rows which are present inside your table and give us the result set. That's it. In the same case, what is sum? What is minimum? What is average? Let us check. Okay, so we have a column which is known as yearly income inside my table. Inside my table, so let me do one thing. Let me
So Yusuf, do you think don't we have any difference for star and one?
no difference inside count of star or count of one. There's no difference. So we have a column known as yearly income, guys. Okay, we can play with this table in order to understand the different scenarios. So let's say I just want to see the total amount of salary which I am paying to my employee, total. So at that time we can go ahead and write it as sum of salary, right? Sum of yearly income. Sum, it will go ahead and add each and everything and give you the value. Sum of someone. If I say someone and execute it, what is the result? 1059 something is the result set, right? Is the amount which I am paying to my employees. Let's say I also want to find average values. Okay, average of yearly income. So we can go ahead and say it as average one, and in the same way minimum of. If I say minimum of, okay, what this will give? This will give us the average, minimum, and the maximum salaries which you are paying to your employees. This is the count, right? Now guys, let me also show you something. Select star from dim customer. Okay, if I am executing it, so it has a column, let something known as English education, right? In which we have multiple English educations, right? Like bachelor's, partial college, high school, partial high school, partial college, and let me write a query. So now guys, what this column is giving us, let's say I just need English education, okay, and I just need English education. So it is giving me multiple values, right? The duplicate values as well. I just want to see the unique values. How can I look into the unique values from this column, guys? I don't want
Distinct
any,
operator.
exactly, I don't want any of the value to get repeated. So at that time we have something known as distinct operator. Okay, if you say distinct of English education, it will do what? It will group and give you the result set into a single result set. See, we have high school, we have partial high school, we have partial college, we have graduate degree, and we have bachelor's, right, inside your English education. Okay, now according to this English education, I just want to find out the total, the average, and the minimum, and the count.
So we can also use group by instead of distinct, right?
Yep. But then group by, when does it comes into picture? Can we directly go ahead and write the group by statement on top of this simple statement? So let us see that as well. Okay, so let me first tell you something about the difference what we was talking about. Okay, so I just need, according to the English education, I just want to find how much I am paying to the high school. What is the sum of salary which I am paying to high school, which I am paying to average, the average salary, as well as the minimum salary which I am paying to high school. How can we find that, guys? Any idea? So what
Could
are
you
we?
repeat your question also?
See, according to the English educations, okay, we have high school, partial college, graduate degree, and bachelor's, right? According to this, I just want to find the total salary, total yearly income, average yearly income, or minimum yearly income.
Group by
Group by.
group by English education.
Exactly. First of all, we just have to go ahead and select the English education. Okay. Now, guys, who was that telling group by? Rajesh?
Me.
Kiran. Okay. So, Kiran, can you please explain us what does that means? Group by statements. Why are we going ahead and using group by over here? So we have few other folks who are unaware of this group by. So can you please elaborate things on top of that?
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what I mean by group by is
Mm-hmm.
you have like different kind of English education, right? There is a lot
Yes.
of different departments English education.
Okay.
Could you open that?
Yeah. Sure.
Could you understand that
That's
so that
one.
I can explain more? Yeah. So if we look at this column here, we have high school, partial, and there are different flavors in English education.
Exactly.
So what Yusuf is requesting is
Mm-hmm.
what are the yearly income? What are the sum of yearly income with respect to the high school?
Mm-hmm.
What are the average yearly income with respect to the high school English education department?
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, for same in all categories.
Yes. So see. So what do you want, guys? You want, based upon the English education, you are trying to find the sum, average, and minimum. But then when you are executing the query, it will throw an error, because it will say, boss, whatever the query you have written is not an either aggregate function, or something is missing. What is that something? Group by statement is missing. Okay, let me write group by first. Group by, if I say English education, and execute the whole query. So let us check what will this query give us. What it is giving according to high school, okay, it is differentiating the amount, right? So now guys, what is exactly a group by statement? So let me give you an example. What can be the better example to understand? Okay, so let's say you are writing the engineering exam. Okay, you're into the hall wherein you have multiple students with you who are from different departments, right? So one is from CSE, few are from EC, few are from electronics, few are from IT. So at the last, if the invigilator wants to count the total number of students who are present inside the class of, let's say, CSE department, what she will do? She cannot keep everyone's paper into one group and count, right? So rather than doing this, what she will do, she or he will do is he will
It
group
will be
it.
shared to the
Yes,
groups.
he will group it. CSE at one place, ECE at one place, IT at one place, and then they will count, right? In order to get the exact count. This is what a group by is doing. Okay, maintaining the departments, okay, high school, partial high school, college, everything into different sects, and counting the values. Clear everyone? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say we also want another column. We also have English depart English education, and let me check what all the columns we have. So we also have English education, English occupation as well. Can we go ahead and take the English occupation as well into the consideration, guys? According
Yeah.
to English education, let's say English occupation. If I go ahead and say English occupation, what will happen here if I execute?
Will throw error.
Exactly, will throw an error because the number of columns which you are trying to group it, okay, should be inside your group by statement. Whenever we are working with the aggregate functions and we are also trying to fetch the value of the original column from that particular table, at that time you're going to use the group by statement, guys. You're getting the things, different things, right? It is not in order. Can we order it? Yes. Order by the two starting columns. So if I say order by default it is in ascending order. So we have bachelors, inside bachelors we have clerical, inside that clerical occupation, this is the sum amount, this is the average, and this is the minimum. This is how you can go ahead and give the result set to the business according to their requirement. We have seen distinct as well, we have seen order, we have seen where clause, we have seen the column alias, and let us check few other things, guys. Yes. Okay, now what is 1 plus 0, guys?
1.
1, right? If I say select 1 plus 0, it is showing us 1. And if I say 1 plus null, what should be the value, guys?
1.
1, right? So Kiran says 1. What about the other folks? I believe we have 7 to 8 students over here, right? Kavya, Monica, Rajesh.
It is 1.
1. So whenever inside SQL Server, if you are trying to concatenate anything with null, it will give us null value, not the original value. Okay, it will give us null. So let me show you the table dim customer. So dim customer has few fields, okay, which is first name, middle name and last name. Okay, here is the requirement wherein you just have to give the full name as the result set, not the first name, middle name and last name. You just have to concatenate these 3 columns and give it as the full name. So when you are concatenating the 3 columns, okay, for first 2 there's no issue, but then for the third one, Ruben, okay, Ruben, we have middle name as null and last name as Torres. For multiple employees, this is the same issue, right? The middle name is null for few of the employees. So let us concatenate it and check what would be the result set. So if I say first name plus middle name and last name, what will be the value, guys? Let's say as full name. If I say full name, so full name is your column, and let me also take the customer key as your first column, customer key. Okay, how can we handle this situations, guys? Any idea? Anyone? Yes,
So
Rajesh.
use the is null operator.
Can
Which
use case.
operator?
So
Can use case.
is null. So it
Okay,
basically check for any null values in the columns and it replaces the null values with some other
exactly.
constant
Ex
value.
exactly. And one more scenario,
Can use case.
case statement. Exactly, Kiran. So, do we have any other scenarios? Guys, assignment for today. Find out one more scenario, okay, how to handle nullable rather than case and is null. Okay, we are going to see case and is null. Rather than this, how can we handle the nullable values? So the middle name column, okay, we know that middle name column is a column which is which is giving us the nullable values inside it, right? So as Rajesh described that is null can be used, let us go ahead and see is null. How to use is null? Just directly write is null of middle name. Whenever we are getting the value nullable value inside middle name, it will go ahead and take it as space. Just go ahead and take it as space, or else you can define any character over here. So for now I am just giving it as space. Whenever any nullable values occurs in middle name, just go ahead and take it as space, or else take it as middle name. So now if you go ahead and execute it, what will be the result set? Rather than nullable values, it will give us the original values of first name and last name. So the null was replaced by a space, right? This is one scenario, and we also have one more scenario which is known as case statement. How to write a case statement, guys? Any idea how to write a case statement? No idea?
You can write like case middle name is
Mm-hmm.
middle name is equal to null, then replace with some other value.
Okay. So whenever you're describing that middle name is null, so you cannot go ahead and use equals to operator there. Okay, so you have to write case when middle name equals to null is totally wrong statement, is null. Okay, whenever it is null, okay, then go ahead and give a space. Else I just want to display my middle name and this statement. That's it. So what are we trying to write over here? Whenever the middle name is null, then space, else give the value of middle name and end the statement. So if you trigger this, what will happen? Christy Zoo, right? We are getting the values. In the same case, let's say we also have gender, right? Gender column, and let's say in place of M, I just want to display it as MALE, and in place of F, I just want to display it as FEMALE. How can I write it, guys?
You can write like case when gender is M.
No, see, case when gender, now we have a value, right? M or F, not null. You're not dealing with null. Whenever you're dealing with null, you have to use a is operator, okay?
Okay, I think we can write equal symbol.
Yes, exactly. You can go ahead and write equals to M. What do you want to display it as? Then MALE. So guys, whatever we are doing, right, this is manipulating things on top of your original columns, okay? These are not the original. This is not the original column of your table, right? Gender is your original column, but not the manipulated one. So, comma, not comma, when gender equals to M, then male, and what, guys?
Nothing else, female.
Else female. That's it, right? We just have two different things. Female and end this statement. Now, let me execute it. See, what does it says? It says no column name. That means this is a column which we are creating, right, by using a case statement. This is not the original column of your table. And let's say full gender, full G, okay. This is what the business needs, the full gender, not MNF.
So can't you display with the actual column name in alias also? All right.
So you just can write the alias name, but then this won't be your actual column.
Okay.
So
still it can accept, right? Yeah. Okay.
it can accept. So where is that? Let me. Okay. Having clause, right? We have to see. Okay. So we'll see the having clause and we'll stop the session, guys. Okay. A very important interview question. Difference between where and having. So why do we go ahead and use where clause, guys?
To filter the specific records based on the where condition.
Exactly. And why do we go ahead and use having? What is having?
So after the aggregations, right? If you want to filter the rows after the aggregations, then you have to go by the having condition.
Okay. after the aggregation if you're trying to filter the rows.
So it's like before aggregation, without aggregation, if you want to filter it, go for where. So any aggregations are involved and you want to still filter out the records, so use the having condition.
Okay. Okay. Now let's say we are using group by statement over here, right? In this query, we are using a group by statement. Now, I just need, let me remove this order by clause. Okay, for now. Let's say I just want the result set of bachelors. How to fetch the result set of bachelors? Just the bachelors. We are getting graduate degree, we are also getting high school, we are also getting partial high school, partial college, right? So I just need the bachelor's result set. That's it. The data which is pointing to bachelor's. So guys, one thing here to understand what is that is, so whenever you're trying to filter, okay, the things, whenever you're trying to filter based upon the original column, this is the original column which is coming from your table, right? From table dim customer, and these are the aliased column, that means duplicate columns, right? We are performing some operation and fetching the result set. So whenever if we are trying to fetch the data based upon the original column, then we can go with where clause. Okay, so now can we write where clause after group by statement is my question. Where it is throwing an error, right? Yes, English education. Let me copy this from here. Equals to, if I say bachelors, what will happen, guys?
There's a typo error there.
It will throw an error. It will say syntax error near where, because whenever what can we say, whenever any aggregation occurs, okay, and if we are using group by statement inside that and we are trying to use where condition, so it should come before group by. Okay, first the English education should get filtered. Okay, according to that filtered things, we just trying to group by the whole statement. Clear, guys? Now let us also check what is having clause. Let me comment it out. We have the whole statement, right? So let's say
Can you remove that English occupation over there? So it's not required, right?
yep, it's not required.
Okay.
Let's say we are just trying to fetch the result set whose average salary is, let me copy this. Now whenever you're if you're trying to fetch the records based upon the non-original columns of the table, then we can go with having what, guys? avg1. If you go ahead and write avg1, will it works? No, it will throw an error, guys. You have to take the whole syntax here, from here, copy this and paste it over here, equals to, let's say, or not equals to, let's say, which is less than. Okay, And if I am trying to execute this command, what will happen, guys? So it will now fetch according to the average salary because of this having clause, and whose average salary is less than this one. It will fetch and give us. So guys, we have very minimal data over here, right? We have very minimal data. Yes or no? What is
Yeah.
happening? Now let's say we were having n number of records, okay, n number multiple. So from there you were trying to fetch the record, okay, using the having clause. What will happen here is, having clause, whenever you're working with having clause, it hampers the performance. Now you are getting the performance issue. The query is taking 10 to 15 minutes in order to execute and fetch the data. So you have to do what? You have to
Run the query.
yes, into a short period of time. Execute that query into a short period of time. How can you do? So without using having, I just want to filter the records, okay? Without using having, I just want to filter the records by using where condition, not by having condition. You're getting my point? Without using having, I just want the result set of having clause. No idea? Yes.
Ideas of.
So see, if you are trying to do that, first of all, the whole statement, whatever the statement is, we just have to alias it as a simple table. Let's say I am now aliasing the whole statement into one simple set, right? Let's say test. Not here. And test. What I am doing now, this test is holding what? The result set of this one, right? Now, if I go ahead and say where avg1 no, test dot avg1 is less than this one, what will happen? What it is doing? It is now filtering the test table according to its column, right? The average one is the original column of this test table. Getting it, guys?
Okay.
Yes, no. I am aliasing the whole table into one set and naming it as test. Now, this test table is holding what? English education inside it, sum 1, average 1 and minimum 1. So, clear? According to that, I am going ahead and filtering the things using your where condition. Yes, no, maybe. Any doubts?
Yes.
Yes, Rajesh. Rajesh.
Is this a kind of a concept of a derived table or something?
Derived table. What does that mean? Derived means a duplicate table?
To derives,
Exactly.
with columns.
Yes. This is English dim customer is the original table, right? Which is existing inside your database. On that table, we were doing some manipulations, right? We were finding out some values, minimum, average, sum. If we directly go ahead and use having clause, it was hampering my performance. So what I did is, rather than using having, what I did is I have aliased the whole table into one simple test table, right? This is my duplicate table, derived table. Now I have returned a where condition on top of my derived table test, and this is now the original column of my test table, right? So as soon as I say test dot, it will list the number of columns which are present inside your test table. These are the columns: English education, some one average and minimum one. So whatever the,
So do we need to use having only when we are working with aggregation functions?
that's it. That's it. Whenever we are using with aggregate, we are trying to fetch the records based upon the aggregate functions, you can go ahead and use the having clause.
So can't we use other than this example? No, right?
No, we won't do that. We won't go ahead and take having. So you might face an interview question based upon where and having. What is the difference between where and having clause? Okay, you can go ahead and express these many things in front of your interviewer. Clear, guys? Yes.
NULL or just the blank space. Okay.
See, by default, whenever you're trying to, you're creating a table, right? By default, every column is a nullable column. If you're not giving any value to that column, so it will obviously take it as null, guys.
Even myself has seen, like, in the adventure work database, where some fields are just the blank, not the space or anything, just the blank.
Just the blank. That we'll
Just the
see that.
blank, not NULL.
Yep. So it is space, not blank. If it is not, displaying is as null, it is space. That's it. A space is occupied. We'll see that in tomorrow's session. A very good question. No problem. We'll create a table. I'll be creating a table in order to perform those operations, and we'll check.